Hi, grade one. Welcome to week 4. Hope you're all well and you're happy and you're warm. All right, the weather has turned, so I hope you're all cozied up and ready to create some art. All right, so this week, our desert landscape scene. We're going to have a fun time this week. It's a really cool activity. All right, so we start off the week with include a quote at the very ones from Vincent van Gogh. All right, a master of art. Maybe you've seen his sunflowers and other paintings before. And he says, I dream my painting and I paint my dream. And I think that's a wonderful way to start today's lesson. And I want you to think about maybe capturing one of your dreams this week. Try and paint it or draw it and then send it through to share with everyone on the Artie Actions board. I'd really love that. All right, I'm on a link through to my reading of The Three Emus this week. And this book is going to inspire our desert. So you can see on the cover there, we've got 3 emus sitting back, enjoying the sunshine, lounging in the desert landscape. And in the background, we have the iconic Uluru. All right, so you can see already there are lots of warm colours that really characterise the desert landscape. All right, big blue skies and reds and all these warm colours that we're going to be using in activity. Looking at our overview today, so hopefully you're scrolling through some of these slides. Urban landscape. All right, so Howard Arkley inspired houses. They will. All right, those of you who sent them in, I really appreciate your time, and I can see that creating your crazy Arkley-inspired fun houses to bring all that wonderful enthusiasm to the task today as well. All right, so remembering that an urban made, it's our neighbourhood, it's we visit and the city that we live in. All right, some of you may have gone on and done the extension activity last week. If you haven't, it could be perhaps another task you'd like to so you could click on this really cool drone flyover of at any point and create a cityscape. You might like to have a go at that. I thought it was really cool. And during lockdown, it's really nice to see our beautiful city. All right, so let's have a look. So the art language, of course, that we're looking at carrying through is the horizon line, this idea of the background and the foreground, and realist art and abstract art. So hopefully you remember some differences there. Realist being real to photograph, but abstract, all right, it's a bit, it has feeling and it has emotion and it's whimsical and fun to mimic real life, all right. So what we're learning today, we're learning to describe what we can see in a desert landscape. We're using our shape, line, colour, pattern to create shape, and we're learning about the Australian artist Reg Mombassa. Can you say the word Mombassa? Mombassa. It's a pretty cool name, isn't it? All right, so he was a famous, he is still a famous artist and musician, and he was in a band called Mental as Anything. And, I think that fun attitude that he has really carries through into his artwork as well. All right, so moving on, we've got page 5 here. Let's think about what is a desert landscape. We have a couple of artists here, very, very famous artists in Australian art history. Albert Namatjira. Won't be the first time, won't be the last time you hear that name. He is a very famous Australian, or was a famous Australian indigenous, and he painted in the European style. And he would often include palm trees in the foreground at either side of his painting, and then he would have other features of the landscape in the background. So we can see here the McDonnell Ranges near where, and we have this very, very, those warm colours I mentioned before, so reds and oranges. All right, and then to the right of that we have Russell Drysdale, so another famous artist, Australian artist, and his scenes, they're quite comical. If you have a look at the top one there, you should be able to see a man walking through the landscape and some dogs. And it's a very dry looking landscape, isn't it? So lots of dead tree. All right, it's not the happiest image, but little characters kind of make it quite fun. All right, and then can you spot the little man in the foreground? Hopefully, and you have some trees. All right, it looks very, very dry, and that's very true of the outback, isn't it? Farmers are experiencing, but these are desert scenes that we're looking at. So Reg Mombasa. All right, and we have a kangaroo cooking a barbecue. We don't often see that, do we? All right, so Reg has a lot of fun with his landscapes, and he loves the Australian landscape. As a young man, he would often sit out in the landscape, drawing the landscape, and just watching the wind and capturing the trees as they were blowing. So we get a sense of a lot of Mombasas. All right, so in this one here, you will also note this little fella koala, but he has one eye. All right, so Reg liked to have a lot of fun with his little Australian animals, and with creating some quirky Australian animals today. All right, so these are more abstract, aren't they? So just thinking about that realist, those words that we refer to describe different types of art. All right, so Reg, he's very abstract, wasn't he? All right, and we can see on page 7 we have those trees blowing from side to side. All right, and all the trees even have big eyes. It's interesting, isn't it? All right, I can see that little with his one eye. I can see cock. What can you find in that image? So we move through to page, have our landscape, our desert landscape scene. However, things like the Sydney Opera House and the Sydney Harbour Bridge, he's put all these other different things in the desert landscape that may not really be there. All right, so that's where he's being very playful and having fun. Again, I can see our little koala. All right, so I want you to have a go at counting how many things you can actually see in that image. I found over 20. I wonder how many. A close look and try different things. Page 9 is an interesting painting by Reg Mombasa. I think this is a self-portrait there. All right, and he's holding a book. He's titled this particular painting, Reading a Book After the Fire. So this scene, it's a very sad scene actually, and thinking about our research last summer, all right, we get a sense of quite a bit of loss in this one. All right, we have blackened trees, so a fire's just swept through there. There's not a lot of greenery or life. All right, and we have Reg standing there at the front in his red superhero cape, and he's reading a funny looking creature. Looks like it's a half sheep and half kangaroo, half building what looks to be a football. I wonder why. What do you think? All right, as you look at that image, it's a really interesting one to contemplate, to ponder. And some of you may have already done this activity, your siblings or your family. I want you to involve your family today. We're going to do corpse drawing. So I want you to get a piece of paper, white paper, and what you're going to do is you are going animal heads that I've included. I want you to, and you're going to draw a head at the top of the piece of paper, fold it into thirds. You're going to go Australian creature, and they're going to draw the body, all right, and hide it and fold it over, and then you're going to finish it off and draw the legs. All right, so what you might come up with something really, really crazy and out there, and that's what we want. We want it to be fun and really adventurous and creative. All right, you've got some examples there of drawings, so they're not necessarily Australian, they're not with Australian animals necessarily, but there are animals included in some of those. All right, and then what I want you to do is that landscape scene. So on page 15, I've had a quick go at doing a digital one. So myself, and I put one eye on the emu, and then my brother drew the body of an emu. So it wasn't too out there, but he could have chosen wings or anything, all right, or a human body. And then I finished it off with some legs. And then I've popped my little ostrich emu figure, Australian landscape, and I've just have a look at that, and you can use your iPad or you can use your drawing, or if you want to do a painting, that's fine. It's up to you. I just want you to have fun with it. All right, making sure you're doing an horizon line and you are including warm colour scene. All right, you might like to be really inspired by the 3 emus as I was. It's a really fun story. So just have fun. Have your extension activities as well to go on with. So that's your art appreciation, looking at different images and favourite drawing from the week. All right, have fun, grade 1, and I look forward to seeing your beautiful desert landscapes. All right, see you next week. Bye.